Joining me now, Virginia Congressman Ben Cline and Wisconsin Congressman Tom Tiffany. They both sit on House Judiciary. Gentlemen, welcome. Congressman Tiffany, you first. It bears pointing out the Democrats are on both sides, the prosecution and the defense here. It seems the game is how they can collude to get Joe Biden's crackhead son off the hook without answering for his crimes. If not for this judge, another Democrat would have, or anybody other than a Democrat would have gotten off. Isn't that fair?
Yeah, I think they thought they had the deal struck a few weeks ago and that things were just going to coast. And what the last couple days has shown is how tenuous that agreement was. And now, today, it all fell apart.
Yeah. Well, Congressman Cline, late last night, a member of Hunter's legal team was reprimanded by the judge for allegedly misrepresenting herself as a GOP attorney in an attempt to remove evidence they didn't want the judge to see from the Republicans. Isn't that illegal? And what do you think would embolden attorneys, left-wing attorneys, in this day and age to try something like that?
Well, if true, it definitely cast a cloud over the proceedings, but I think the judge arrived at the right decision because what we had was Hunter Biden's legal team expecting to have immunity from future prosecution for anything involving the Biden family business. And we know from the drip, drip, drip that's been coming out, there's more information about just how much President Biden knew, whether he was present for a lot of these conversations, whether he was involved in a lot of these business conversations. The amount of corruption is staggering, and the facts are coming to light.
Yeah, and immunity not for future prosecutions, but it bears pointing out that the DOJ was ready to give it to him. It wasn't just what the defense wanted. The prosecution wanted to give it to him, too. Congressman Tiffany, let's turn to the other big story today. You were at a DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas's hearing today, and you and your colleagues demanded Mayorkas come prepared after he refused to come clean on many of his other previous hearings, but still we heard answers like this. Watch.
How many Afghans, Mr. Secretary, have been admitted to the United States through parole since the fall of Kabul? 2 years ago.
Congressman, I would be pleased to provide you with that data. I don't have it.
There were 70,192 Afghans that were brought into the United States.
As always, Congressman, everybody's more informed than the Biden regime. As much as this exercise feels good to watch, for all the badgering Mayorkas takes, he still gets to stay on the job, and illegal aliens continue to stream into this country by the millions. Don't Americans deserve more at this point than just a show, sir?
Yeah, that's true, Chris, but we're doing our job on judiciary in exposing what is going on. And as Ben just recognized with the Hunter Biden situation, it's this drip, drip, drip. It's continuing to get the word out. So he did the same thing that he normally does, Chris. He's stonewalled. But I'll tell you what, he also acknowledged today they do not have operational control of the border. First time that he has acknowledged that. And the other thing that I think is really being driven home at this point, and I said it in my closing, when you think fentanyl and fentanyl poisonings, a synonym is Secretary Mayorkas. He is responsible, really singularly responsible, for the amount of fentanyl that's coming into this country, because we've heard it from sheriffs, and we've got tens of thousands of fentanyl families in America as a result of that. I believe the walls are closing in around the Biden administration, and I think it's true also of Mayorkas.
Congressman Cline, Mayorkas is facing, as you know, growing calls for his impeachment. Yesterday, for the first time, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy floated an impeachment inquiry idea into Joe Biden, but not all Republicans are on the same page on this. Texas Senator John Cornyn, a man who has a history of helping Democrats harm Texans, for example, he complained impeachment is, quote, getting to be a habit around here, end quote. Senator Mitt Romney said he doesn't believe the evidence rises to high crimes and misdemeanors. But Senator Cruz said this to me on my radio show this morning. Listen.
And if it is true, as the FD 1023 alleges, that Joe Biden solicited and received a multi-million-dollar bribe from a foreign national for official conduct when he was vice president of the United States, then absolutely the House of Representatives should impeach him and the Senate should convict him. And I'll note, Chris, you know, the past impeachments we've had, there have been big debates about whether something constitutes a high crime or misdemeanor. That actually doesn't matter here, because the text of the Constitution provides that impeachment lies for treason, bribery, or other high crimes or misdemeanors. If this evidence demonstrates that Biden committed this conduct, he wouldn't be impeached for high crimes or misdemeanors. He would be impeached for bribery, a specifically enumerated ground for impeaching and removing the president.
Congressman Cline, who's right, the pro-Democrat Republicans or the conservative Republicans?
Well, I think that the facts are going to lead us to the inescapable conclusion that the corruption is so thick it can't be ignored, even by a Senate where Joe Biden spent over 30 years of his professional career building relationships, getting chummy with other senators. It's no surprise that these senators say they're now tired of impeachment. The House will do its job. The Judiciary Committee will investigate the facts, and we will make sure that the public is informed prior to our next step forward. But today was about Alexander Mayorkas, Secretary of Homeland Security, that is in violation of his oath, and his policies are leading to more crime at the border, the endangerment of children, more drugs, killing people in our communities, and so we need to hold him accountable for his failures as well.
Yeah, gentlemen, I think the American people would anticipate that the Homeland Security Secretary would actually be interested in securing the homeland, and of course, as you both point out, Mayorkas is a failure at that. Congressman Ben Cline and Tom Tiffany, gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate the time.